Thank you everyone for joining us. We're just going to get started in a few more moments. Thank you everyone for joining us. We're just going to give everyone another 2 minutes or so to log in. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you everyone for joining us. We have several Welcome Campus partners on this call today to help acclimate you to Stony Brook University and all the great resources that we have to offer. My name is Megan DeJoya. I'm the coordinator in the New Student and Transition Programs Office. So a lot of the orientation communication, welcome week emails, all those types of things are coming from our area. You'll also be hearing from other areas across campus as well, as far as advising and other different things that you might need to complete in terms of getting your bill, paid and all of that. So please be checking your emails. The purpose of today's session is going to be on your academic success. So we have representatives from our Student Accessibility and Support Center, our Tutoring Center, and then our undergraduate colleges. We also have our undergraduate pals who are our peer assistant leaders who can answer your questions from the student perspective. If at any point that you do have questions, feel free to enter them in the Q&A chat feature. So we're going to be able to monitor any questions and get to as many questions as we can during our time. We will do our best to get the answers on camera so that everyone can hear them, but some of the questions might be a little too specific for that. So we'll do our best to meet everybody's needs today. We'll also try and drop some links in the chat as we can to be helpful. And with that being said, I will turn the presentation over to Shannon, who is from our Academic Success and Tutoring Center. Thank you, Shannon.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Shannon Jane. I'm the director of the Academic Success and Tutoring Center. And our our office offers free services to undergraduate students. And what I'm going to do, we have a variety of services. So we have everything from peer mentoring programs to actually a public speaking course. I'm going to focus today on our most popular services, so our tutoring and our peer-assisted learning. And what I'm going to do is actually put the website. So this is our website. I just chatted it to everybody. It's stonybrook.edu/tutoring. I really encourage you to check it out, look at all of our services, and most of your questions could be answered by going to our website, but it also has our contact information there. So feel free to call, email, stop by. We're here to help you. So as I mentioned, all of our services are free. They're also peer-led, which means that, for instance, our tutors are all students from Stony Brook University who have taken the class, they've done well in the class, and really they just want to help other students succeed. So all of our services are peer-led. It's a great way to learn from other students, to make connections, and again, to hear from other students who have done well here at Stony Brook. So our tutoring, we have two types of tutoring. The first one is course-based tutoring. This is, if you think of the word tutoring, this is probably what you're thinking about, right? So you're going to meet either one-on-one or in a small group with a peer tutor who again has taken a class and can help you work through some of the difficult course content. We offer both appointments and drop-in. So our appointments are always one-on-one unless you request that it be made into a group. And we highly encourage that you meet with the same tutor for the same subject every week. And that is an option with our tutoring appointments. With our drop-in, we offer a variety of classes that you can drop in during our times and get a few questions answered. Again, meet other students in your class and learn from each other. All of that information is on our website in the very beginning of the semester. If you look right now, we do break down everything that we have, but it's not going to give you the specific days and times because we're still hiring our peer tutors, we're still training them, and we'll get all of their availability up at the very beginning of the semester. So definitely bookmark our website. Our appointments are all scheduled through something called Navigate, and you may have heard of this already. If not, you absolutely will. Navigate Student is an app that you put on your phone, and it's really easy access to making appointments with advisors, with tutors. You can also have a to-do list. It kind of keeps you up to date on deadlines. You can also find study buddies in your class by using this app and just letting people know in your class that you're open to studying and forming a study group. So that's how you'll make an appointment with our peer tutors. And again, that link and all the information is going to be on our website in the beginning of the semester. The other form of tutoring that we have is called skill-based tutoring. So this is when you meet one-on-one with a peer tutor to talk about not specific course content, but general academic success strategies that will help you in all of your classes. So it's things like time management, effective learning strategies, study strategies, test-taking strategies, note-taking strategies. So again, all those things that you can use in any of your classes. And those are always by appointment, and it's always one-on-one because it's very specific to you and your needs as a student. Again, you're going to go on to Navigate to book your appointments. And just like course-based tutoring, we really encourage you to meet regularly with your skill-based tutor so you can form that relationship and learn these new strategies, but then have time to try them out and come back and reflect with your tutor on what's working, what's not, and why. So again, definitely check out our website in the beginning of the semester. So the next service that I want to talk to you a little bit more about is called Peer Assisted Learning, or PAL. So our Peer Assisted Learning program is actually supplemental instruction. And what that means is that we have PAL leaders who have taken specific courses. So right now we offer it for Math 123, 125, and 126. And they have taken a class, they've done really well. For this fall semester, they'll actually sit in the class again. They meet with us on a weekly basis and with faculty from the math department on a weekly basis to learn what students might be struggling with this semester. And then they use collaborative learning strategies, and that's just a fancy way of saying that They will help you work with other students in your class to apply what you're learning in class and to kind of work through some of that difficult content in a fun and collaborative way. So that again is offered for those math classes. If you have those on your schedule, don't worry, our PAL leader will actually either talk with your class or your faculty member will talk with the class about the sessions, and they'll post it on Blackboard. And we send out email reminders every week if you're enrolled in those classes about how you can attend PAL sessions. So it's completely voluntary, but it's highly recommended that you do attend them if you are enrolled in those classes. Now, as I mentioned before, all of our services are peer-led. So this is also a really great opportunity if you're looking for maybe a student employment position, you want a way to connect with other students, you want a way to help other people. And what's really great about being a peer tutor or a PAL leader is that it's helping you too, right? Because you are reinforcing your knowledge and you're keeping all of that foundational information really fresh in your mind as you're moving up into upper division classes. So if that is something that you're interested in, then again, look at our website. We are, always accepting applications for peer tutor positions. And you do need a SBU GPA. So this semester, just do really well in your classes, right? Make connections with your faculty members, go to those office hours, and then you can apply to be a peer tutor for starting in the spring semester. You need a 3.0 or higher GPA, a B+ or higher in the class, and a faculty recommendation for the course you'd like to tutor. We offer paid training for all of our tutors. This training is actually recognized by the College Reading and Learning Association, which is a professional organization. And for each level of training, you earn a certification, which you can put on your resume, and you get a pay increase. So again, a really great way to help yourself and to help others. And please realize that you do not need to be struggling to take advantage of our services. So a lot of our peer tutors were former tutees, right? So they received tutoring and said, wow, I'd really like to help other people. And a lot of our current tutors are actually also getting tutoring in a different class. So maybe they're tutoring organic chemistry, but they're getting, tutoring in physics. So, this isn't just about when you're struggling, although when you are struggling, please come and ask for help and we can help you out. But it is also for people who just want to kind of talk about the material, want to work with another student who has done well, and just want to, again, kind of work through some of the difficult content and apply what they're learning in class. So I'm going to stop there, and I'm sure, later on, if you have any questions, any, specifics, any details, I can share that with you. But that's our general overview of some of our services. So I think it was Amy who's going to go next, right? Okay.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Amy Cohen, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. And I am one of the assistant directors for the undergraduate colleges at Stony Brook. You may be asking, okay, what are the undergraduate colleges? They are our first year experience. So we have 3 different learning communities that are theme-based for our first-time full-time students. And those themes really focus on what we refer to as grand challenges. So in our seminar courses, in our events, we focus on exploring, real world issues around our themes. So our 3 undergraduate colleges are Global Health, Wellness, and Community. And I am the assistant director for this specific community. We also have Creativity, Technology, and Innovation, and then Social Justice, Equity, and Ethics. So the purpose of the undergraduate colleges is really designed to help you transition from high school into college, help you, build community, feel like a part of the Stony Brook community, make connections, and really, foster this sense of belonging on campus, right? So you might think, okay, I'm going to be one of over 3,000 first-year students. Okay, well, now the first-year class size is divided by 3. So you have a slightly smaller community to help you through that transition and that adjustment. And so our goals are really to help you prepare for academic and social success in college, right? We want you to make connections with other students, to make connections with faculty and staff, and just connect with the Stony Brook culture in general. And then we want to help you with your academic planning and academic success, and really also just expand your interests, try, things maybe you haven't tried before coming to college, and, really broaden your horizons in terms of your strengths and your interests. So the undergraduate college experience will start off with full course registration. So you should have already started receiving registration kind of to-do items from our office, like placement exams and registration workshops have been assigned, things of that nature. We also connect with you during Welcome Week. So when you move in and you're first arriving on campus, there's programming where you will be attending most of these sessions with students in your undergraduate college. So again, having the opportunity to connect with those peers. We're also your advisors, right? So our advisors are not called academic advisors, though we do advise academically. Our titles are college advisors. So you can kind of think of us as a central point of contact if you have a question about being a college student in your first year and you're not sure where to go. We will either have the answer for you or we'll help you navigate to the right place to find that answer. But we also do what you would expect from academic advisors in terms of helping you schedule classes and choose majors and things of that nature. We also lead first year seminar courses, which are required for every first year student. You'll enroll in SBU 101 or the Introduction to Stony Brook course in your first semester. That's taught by staff and really is meant to give you the skills and knowledge to succeed in college, both academically and socially. And then SBU 102 are topics-based courses led by faculty members that you take in your spring semester. And so you'll have the opportunity in a smaller setting, a class of about 20 students, to connect with a professor on a specific topic of interest. We also host co-curricular programs and events that will be, related to assignments for your 101 seminar course, really to encourage you to get involved in the Stony Brook community. And all of our 101 classes have undergraduate college fellows as a TA for the course. So you will have a second year student, right? A student who 1 year ago today was sitting in your exact seat, serving as a mentor and a teaching assistant and another point of contact for any questions you have about getting involved at Stony Brook. So for those of you who are first year students, you should have already received an undergraduate college placement. You filled out a preference form ranking your interests in those three colleges, right? Creativity, technology, and innovation, global health, wellness, and community, and social justice, equity, and ethics. And most of you, unless you were admitted a little bit later, should have already received your placement. Your undergraduate college is linked to where you will live on campus if you do plan to live on campus rather than commute. So CTI students will be living in Roosevelt community, GWC students in H community, and SJE or social justice, equity, and ethics students will be in Mendelssohn community. So you should have, or most of you should have received your undergraduate college placement. And again, within these three communities, particularly through our events and our seminar courses, you're going to experience exploring issues that are large scale that affect us, globally. So global health, wellness, and community will look at global public health, planetary health, things of that nature, right? Social justice, equity, and ethics will look at, issues around equality and education and social justice movements. And creativity and technology and innovation will look, more at the digital divide and equal access to information and knowledge and things of that nature. Every undergraduate college has a team, an advising team that consists of an assistant director and 2 undergraduate college advisors. So that's the team that will support you through your first year, starting with getting you registered for your classes. So like I said, you've probably been receiving emails around filling out your advising planning form and completing your placement exams. But the support doesn't just end once you're registered for the fall. We're there for you through that entire first year to help you acclimate to Stony Brook and build the skills you need to succeed. I think that's pretty much a broad overview of the undergraduate colleges, and then any follow-up questions that first-year students may have around our offerings or the registration process. Happy to answer when we move on to the next portion. So I think I'm passing the baton to Wendy.
Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. I am Wendy Matthews. I am the Director of Student Accessibility Support Center here at Stony Brook University. I love doing these things because I get to welcome all of our new Seawolves and their parents. So welcome. We're a really exciting community here, and we're excited to be able to tell you a little bit about all of our services. So what Student Accessibility Support Center is, we always like to call ourselves a little sassy with a snap at the end of it. Our office works collaboratively with students and faculty and staff to really create an inclusive environment here at Stony Brook University. Our office works with individuals with temporary disabilities or permanent disabilities, such as mental health, chronic health issues, sensory, physical, neurodiverse, health and mobility, learning disabilities, also food sensitivities. Our office really works with providing accommodations, whether it's in the classroom, in the housing environment, in the academic environment. So some of the things that we do at our office is we provide, as I said, the academic accommodations, dietary accommodations, medical housing, classroom, paratransit, which is basically a bus that we have on campus that if you are injured, can take you as close as your classes as possible. We work with faculty and staff consultations. We provide a mentoring program, which I'll talk a little bit about later. Supportive educational counseling. A lot of times students that are coming in to Stony Brook who have had maybe an IEP or a 504 have really not had to do a lot of the advocating on their own. And what our office really works with is helping students learn that advocate for themselves. And how do they do that? How do they ask a student professor if they need accommodations? How do they write an email to the professor? How do they discuss their grades? What resources are available on campus? So oftentimes our partners on here are people that I might refer to. We offer programming and also advocacy for our students. When we talk about registering with our office, everything that we do is based on documentation. So if you go to our website, and I'll put it into the chat, but if you go onto our website, we have students fill out what's called an intake form. In that intake form, it really gives us an idea of what you are looking for, what the disability is, and what the functional limitations are that require you to need accommodations. There are 2 different types of forms we have on our website. One is an academic accommodation and one is a residential hall accommodations. So depending on what accommodation you're needing, we would ask that you would have your treating provider fill that out. A treating provider is somebody who is you're underneath their care for a specific condition. So for example, it could be a nurse practitioner, it could be a medical provider, it could be a psychiatrist, it could be a social worker, it could be a variety of people, but whoever's treating you for your specific condition would fill out our documentation. You would submit your documentation over to SASSY, which is at sassy at stonybrook.edu. Again, I'll put that all in our chat. And then once you do that, our office will contact you about making an appointment with one of our counselors. Once we have the documentation, we go through what's called an interactive process where one of the counselors will meet with you. We really like to talk to you and learn about, what's going on for you and what accommodations that you're seeking, and to really tell us a little bit of historical information so that we can really understand how your disability impacts you. And then what we do from there is we create basically a plan that we send out with you to your faculty members that say the accommodations that you need. We do not disclose what your disability is. You could be seeing us for a broken finger or something more severe than that, but either way, we don't disclose what the disability is. We work with not only our undergraduates, but we also work with our professional schools, including our medical, dental, our PT schools. So we really work with cross campus regarding setting up these type of accommodations. Once we set up these accommodations and we sent the letters to the faculty, then that means that your semester is good. Now, the other piece of this is that every semester, though, that you're here at Stony Brook, you need to register with us. So basically, that means going through the process of meeting with someone and sending out the letters. If you don't come to us, then we don't send out the letters. So it's really important that you do that every semester. As far as the renewal process, it's actually pretty quick. We ask that people, renew, as early as possible within the beginning of the semester. One of the biggest things that we handle as far as accommodations is actually our testing accommodations. And about almost a year ago, we actually built our first ever SASE testing center. It's beautiful. It's located in the student union. We have about 60 distraction reduced seats that students take their exams in and also receive their extra time. It's really a great location, and it allows our students to be able to have the freedom to use whatever accommodations they need, but also in a place that's comfortable for them. So what are some other things that we do offer? So I did mention before about a mentoring program. This was something I started about 4 years ago. And basically what we do is we pair upperclassmen who are registered with SASE to new incoming students to Stony Brook and really help them on the adjustment to college life. The mentees receive guidance from experienced students that learn essential life skills like networking and time management. Mentees will make connections with other students in the program and have an opportunity to attend at least 3 events a semester. Hopefully we do more than that. But it's really a chance for you to get connected with not only just the mentors, but other mentees. And it really helps with that transition to college. So it's going on to our 4th year within the program. And so far it's been very successful. And even with COVID, we've pivoted and still kept it going. So we look forward to doing it again this year. Another great space that we have, again, we're located in the student union, is our sensory space. So our sensory space is a therapeutic environment where students can develop, stimulate and relax your senses. Students can receive or exclude sensory input and work on self-regulating behaviors. This is a space that's filled with things for everybody. We have bubble walls, silly putty, stress balls, beanbag chairs, an egg swinging chair, but it really provides students a place to relax. And this is actually open to all students within the university. I laugh sometimes because I see my staff oftentimes taking a nice little break in there because it's just such a great location to be able to relax into. So that's a little bit about our office and what we do. I have students a lot of times that will say they're not sure if they want to register. They're not sure if this is the right thing. You can still come and speak to one of our counselors. It's confidential, and you can talk about what your concerns are, and then we'll be happy to put you into the right resources, whether it's us or somebody else. So that's a little bit about our office. I look forward to hopefully seeing some of you in the future. Welcome to Stony Brook again, and I'll stay on and happy to answer any questions people might have.
Thank you, Shannon, Amy, and Wendy. I'm going to ask our peer assistant leader, Alex, if he would like to add anything as far as academic success, your experience, your favorite resources on campus, anything that you want to add at this time.
Yeah, so right now I'm going to be a junior this fall. So I've had a lot of experience with these kind of services. And I can really say that the Academic Success and Tutoring Center is a big help for me in my freshman and sophomore years. So my tutor for Bio 2 was very helpful and also very inspirational. And he actually inspired me to be a TA for the class. And this made my 3rd semester TAing, and I'm head TA. And I really owe that to him to kind of, push me to be the person that I am now. The ASTC is definitely a good resource and has helped me through almost all my classes as of now. Office hours for professors and TAs are definitely a big help too, and definitely take advantage of those. I remember attending my Gen Chem professors' TAs office hours. My professor's office hours. And I really got to learn a lot from him and develop a really nice relationship from him. And for TA themselves, I know a lot of classes are definitely famous for them, like organic chemistry and Gen Chem. They're almost well known for their helpful TAs. And definitely taking advantage of those is a big boost and a big advantage for you in that class. As well as labs. So labs will have recitations. And that's a really great time to ask any questions you might have, as well as getting to know the professor and the TA. So I think a really good tip I have is just don't try and do these things alone. There are ways to reach out for help and definitely take advantage of the help that's offered to you, because doing a lot of this alone can be a really rough experience. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Alex. So we're going to continue taking questions from our audience. I know some questions are coming through in the chat. There is a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen in the control panel somewhere. So if you want to submit any more questions through there, it's going to be the easiest place for us not to miss your questions if you want to continue to submit those. We do have some additional questions that we're going to start asking on screen right now, but now's a good chance to get those questions in so we can get to as many as we can during our time together. So Wendy, I know you spoke a little bit about if a student is unsure about, if they should get the services or not. But for a student that maybe has decided they don't want the services, I guess what would be the process or the timeline if they were to try to do that later? I know in the past you've had some great advice for these students.
Yeah, thanks. So students, you're right, Megan, students can self-disclose at any point. So sometimes I have students that make the decision that they don't want to register right away, and that's perfectly fine. If you choose, to do it later on, we would just request some sort of documentation again from a treating provider, or even sometimes we'll take in psychoeducational testing. My only piece of advice for people is that sometimes it's easier for you to register and maybe we don't send out accommodation letters right away, because what ends up happening is sometimes when students start to struggle, we usually hear from them like October, November, and that's when we start to see some of the warning signs happening. And by that point, to then have to go get the documentation and do that whole process, sometimes that can take a lot longer. So I tell students all the time, come in, talk to us, register with us. We can create a plan that works for you. And the good thing about accommodations is we can customize them for what works for the individual. So sometimes people might need maybe certain accommodations for one class, but not another. And we can certainly do it that way. The only thing you don't want to do, because accommodations aren't retroactive, so they don't go backwards. So you don't want to register with me on the last day of the semester because there's not much I can do about maybe things that have happened prior to that. So we really want to try to be as supportive as possible and really set our students up for success. So that's why I do encourage students to register early, and then, we can talk about, when and if they want letters to go out to faculty.
Thank you. So I do recognize we have definitely some transfer students in the audience. So I'm going to drop a quick link in the chat. So this is something that you can access after this session. Our Academic and Transfer Advising Services office. They have information sessions that are happening. I believe the next one is next week. So if you want to check that out after the session, by all means, just open that link up now. But Amy, could you elaborate a little bit more on what the transfer process looks like for credits? So I know that, our first year students might be transferring credits in as well as our transfer students. So could you just elaborate a little more on that process?
Yeah, so students that are bringing in credits either from, college level courses that they took while in high school, or, if they're transfer students and they attended another institution, it is very important that you go ahead and send official transcripts from all the different institutions that you may have completed college coursework through. Okay, so for those first year students who took courses while in high school, a high school transcript is not sufficient. So you do need to have those official transcripts sent into us through the college or university where you took the credit. If you have questions about, what credit you might be receiving for a certain class that you took, you can reference our transfer equivalency database. And I'm just going to go ahead and stick a link in the chat if anyone did want to take a look at, what maybe some of their courses would be equivalent to. So if you're bringing a course in, you have to have earned a C or higher in that course to earn the credit for it at Stony Brook. And again, you just want to make sure you send those official transcripts as soon as possible. For first-year students, in the meanwhile, we may ask for unofficial copies just to confirm what you've taken and what grades you've received to help with your enrollment. But please make sure that those official transcripts are coming through. And that's even more important for transfer students who, obviously have completed far greater number of college credits at this point.
Thank you. So this question could be for anybody and everybody. As far as our panelists go, we ideally have some family members and supporters on today's session joining us. So what advice would you have for them to support their student at home? Pal Alex, you're also welcome to join in on this. So whether if they're struggling with a topic or, how to just be best supportive to whatever their needs are. So I guess what advice do you have for our families and supporters?
I think one big tip, so a lot of the academic responsibility really does fall on the student, but the parents themselves can support them by making sure that they're either eating okay, that they're getting out, getting the fresh air, and overall just making sure that they're getting help they need. So I think they really can't do much directly, but they can always check in on their kids and make sure that, they're making the best they can. That's my advice.
I think that's great advice. And to kind of piggyback off of that, Alex, I tell a lot of times parents, dropping off at college doesn't mean going away, right? Like you still want to be there for your student because they're going to need you. I had a conversation actually with a student the other day, and it brought me back to when I was in college many moons ago, where before we had Zoom and FaceTime and all this other stuff, I used to call my mom just to get phone call hugs. And she'd be like, all right, I'm going to put my arms around you right now. And so now we have such this technology that you could actually talk to your student, be able to do those virtual hugs that they might need, because they're still going to, although they're 18 years old, they still need their parents or guardians' help to really facilitate, this college experience. This is definitely, it can be overwhelming. And also for the students on the other end of it, your parents are still there, right? Utilize them. Don't think you have to take this on your own. That's really important. And, this transition is as hard as it is for you. It's also hard for them too. So I know even leading up to kind of going into college, I always say it's when everybody kind of gets a little bit testy and everything on everybody's parts. For each of you, you might have to cut each of you a little bit of slack there.
I would say, don't expect perfection. Learning is a process, and I know that we enroll a lot of high flyers, right? We have a lot of students who have done really well in high school, in their past institutions, and they will and can do well here. But learning is a process, and there's going to be that transition period. And I think it's just a matter of kind of listening, maybe remembering some of these resources that you're learning about now and encouraging your students to take advantage of them, but don't necessarily do it for them. Sometimes I get parents calling, or how do I make a tutoring appointment for my son or my daughter? And I say, you don't. It should be the student really asking for help and going to their advisor, coming to tutoring, making those appointments, and encouraging that, I think, is really great. I think too, for anybody who's living at home, right? So maybe your student is commuting to campus, just recognizing that they might have to put in more effort than they did in high school or maybe their previous institution, and that's okay. You might not see them as much as you did. Maybe they can't be at the dinner table when you want them to be. And, letting them kind of have that time and explore and dedicate the time that they need to their academics as much as possible. I think it's just kind of having that understanding as a parent that, they have different responsibilities now. And again, if you do see that they maybe need some extra assistance, just encouraging them to take advantage of the resources, I think is really important. Because again, learning is a process. I always say, you will be challenged here at Stony Brook, and that's good, right? Like if you leave here with your degree and you say that was easy, we didn't do our job, and the important part is that we offer the support that's necessary, right? And that's why we're here. We want to challenge you. We want you to come out of Stony Brook and think, wow, like I had to think differently. I had to change my strategies. I had to think in a, in a new, exciting way. But again, we're here to offer that support to make that process a little bit easier. And it's really important that you take that step to take advantage of what we have. And that's why we're here for you.
So I don't have much more to add from what my colleague said, but I think I would just recognize that you know your students best, right? Better than we do. They're just coming here, and you may know what their needs are and be able to help them anticipate them. Because I think reaching out to resources, reaching out to tutoring, it's a lot more effective if the student does it up front rather than waiting for that first failing grade or that first grade that's shocking to them. If they know that there's comparatively one, subject or one area that they tend to, need a little bit of assistance with, encourage them to be proactive and anticipate those needs as opposed to waiting for them to come up, because again, you know them best.
Thank you, everyone. So what would be some warning signs for a student to kind of recognize if they're starting to struggle, or maybe that it's kind of that time to reach out to a department or, a person on campus for some further assistance?
So like Amy said, try not to wait too long. So I would say if, you are using the same strategies that you've used either in high school or in your previous institution, and you're noticing that it's not working, right? You can't recall information. You maybe are quizzing yourself and having difficulty answering those questions. I know that a lot of times in lecture, the professors will use like clickers. So they'll ask a question during class and you'll be able to answer it using a clicker. If you're not getting those correct, those are signs like, hey, I might need to reach out for help. I might need to go to my TA's office hours, go to my professor's office hours, maybe get a tutor, maybe, do some drop in and ask my questions. Just do it early. It's really difficult if it's the end of the semester and you come in and you're like, what can I do? The last 2.5 months didn't go as I expected. We're always trying to look ahead. So, the first sign, go to that TA, go to the professor, go to that tutor, really ask for help.
Yeah, I think that that's great advice, Shannon. And I would just kind of throw in there, when you notice that like your routine is off, so like if you're not sleeping as much, or you're not making time to eat, you're having kind of trouble finding the time to do things, that's a really good time to like start asking for help. Because if all of that stuff kind of falls out of alignment, then so will your classes, right? So if you start to know like a lack of energy, lack of motivation, like those are some warning signs to look for. And you want to make sure that you're here at Stony Brook, not only to have this great educational experience, which, as Shannon says, you will have, but also to have a little fun too, right? You want to be able to enjoy college, because years later, you're gonna be like, oh, what happened to college? You want to enjoy that time because Stony Brook is such a great place. You want to take advantage of everything that we have to offer here.
All right, thank you, everyone. So feel free to submit any final questions that you have. We're going to be wrapping up shortly. What advice do we have for a student that might be struggling to decide on a major, or maybe declared something on their way in and or in their application and have since maybe changed their mind or want to consider something else?
I mean,
Well, I'll start by saying, that's something that happens, and that's something that should happen in college, right? For you to explore your options and maybe, end up pursuing something you didn't expect to be pursuing when you, first decided to even, apply to college or come to Stony Brook. There are a number of general education requirements you do have to fulfill. We call them our Stony Brook curriculum courses, or SBCs. So I think you can certainly use those SBCs strategically to select courses from departments that, you're kind of thinking, oh, this seems interesting. This is something I want to, look into. you can certainly connect with an academic advisor about, if you already have credits, what majors, maybe do you already have some credits and degree progress towards. We also have a career center on campus that you can talk to about your career interests and, how majors relate to careers and, help you select the major option from that point in process. But I think recognizing that college can be a time to explore and using those SBCs really strategically to, try out courses. And in some cases, just taking an elective class to try something can be okay and help you, in terms of making progress. Because if it's going to lead to a decision, then that decision is going to lead to a degree. So don't be completely against or opposed to taking an elective class to try something.
There's also really great opportunities for experiential learning. So internships, different jobs. So, take advantage of that and maybe even start talking to people in that field to see what did they major in, right? And then just like Amy said, talking with your academic advisor, talking with the career center, and kind of seeing if this is a good path for you. I think sometimes students are a little surprised that the majors and maybe their career path aren't like a perfect match all the time, right? There's no like one major that leads to this. And so having that conversation with your advisor and definitely with the career center can be really helpful.
And since you've mentioned the Career Center, Shannon, another good opportunity too is being able to, if you are able to have a job on campus, because I find that a lot of times students get exposed to areas of employment and they're like, oh, I could actually see myself doing this. So for me, I actually didn't know much about higher education when I was in school. I wish I did. But now when we have students that work in our office, we always explain to them like all the different areas that they can go into higher education because there's so much. So I also think being able to get a job on campus allows you to have some exposure to different areas that you might be interested in. And I also think that could help as far as later on down the road when you're looking for jobs as well, because it's just another way to build your resume and connections.
Alex, did you want to add something in?
Yeah, so just like think what Amy said, SBCs are really good opportunities like kind of branch out and see what they're to offer. But even if you are set on a major, you can still look out at different classes and see what they're to offer. So even though that I know what my major is, my future plans are, I always have at least 1 or 2 classes per semester, just kind of like, see what's there to offer. So like last semester, I took a class on Latin American cinema. And before that, I took a class on creative writing. And I only made sure to try and see what's there to offer because Stony Brook has a variety of classes, and there are always some that might pique your interest. So don't take a class that, try and be open to what's there to offer, because Stony Brook has a lot of classes, and I guarantee you one of them might be up your alley, and you might find a hobby out of it or like a passion for it. So it's not always about your major, but what you find interesting and want to use.
Thank you. We have a question. When do first-year students get their schedule and will be able to choose their classes?
Absolutely. So our first year students should already be receiving communications from their undergraduate college email account. So the way the registration process works for first year students that are not College of Engineering, and I'll briefly talk about College of Engineering in a second, but if you're not in the College of Engineering, you'll fill out your advising planning form, and then an advisor is going to go through and make course recommendations. And we will actually enroll you directly into your major or core courses. So if you're undeclared, you'll probably be enrolled just in like writing and math. But if you have a major, you'll be enrolled in those foundational courses for your major. Or if you're pre-health, you're going to get math and chem, things of that nature. So we would pre-enroll you in the core courses that you need. And then you will be, if you have not already been, assigned a registration workshop date. So please check your email. At your registration workshop, these workshops span from July 12th through August 9th. At your registration workshop, you will select the rest of your courses. So, you might have 2 major courses, and then you have to select, 2 or 3 SBCs. Or you might have 3 major courses and need to select, 1 or 2 SBC courses. You'll select your general education courses and finish your schedule at your registration workshop. So please make sure you are checking your email for your assigned registration workshop date and communications from our team, because there is a possibility you could be missing something in terms of placement exams that we need in order to enroll you in those core courses. If you're a College of Engineering major, you will be enrolled directly by the College of Engineering advisors. So they will make recommendations, they will place you in the courses, you will receive an email with your schedule. And if you need to make adjustments, you'll be able to do that during the add drop swap period, which is the first 2 weeks of classes.
Thank you. There's a question about changing majors and trying to decide how to change their majors, particularly in relation to kind of the continuum, I guess, that like a sequence that students might need to progress through classes in order to succeed in that major in terms of graduating. I guess, is there resources available? I think DegreeWorks used to be a resource. Is that still a resource? I guess, could you elaborate on that a little bit to kind of help students navigate that in addition to meeting with an advisor?
Yeah. So in addition to, obviously having the conversation with an advisor, which I think is still necessary if you're thinking about changing your major, DegreeWorks is basically students' online graduation checklist. So it tells you how many of your general education requirements and how many of your major requirements you still need to complete. There is a feature on DegreeWorks called What If? So it's kind of like, well, what if I change my major to psychology? What if I change my major to philosophy? And then you can see, okay, well, how many of those philosophy requirements are done? How many would you still need? So you can take a look at that. I think the general rule of thumb is that you want to be settled on your major by the time you reach junior standing or 57 credits. We don't tell you you can't change it after that point, but unless there's a lot of overlap between what you're changing to and what you've been working on, if you make a change after that point, you're probably committing to more than a 4-year graduation plan. So you really want to try and be settled by the time you reach junior standing. Again, unless you're switching to something that, is extremely similar, like maybe you're doing bio and now you want to do biochem, and there's just, a few small differences in their requirements. So, again, you can start doing that initial kind of homework and review on DegreeWorks to see how many classes you would need for a change of major. And then you can also just look at all of our majors and all their requirements in the undergraduate bulletin. So you can see, what classes are required. You can look at the course descriptions, and you'll find some majors, are only 39 credits. Economics is 39 credit major. So switching to that a little bit later is more feasible than, say, switching to a physics major later on, which is like 80 credits, right? So it depends on the major and how many credits are involved too, in terms of, how difficult of a lift it would be to make a change.
Thank you. We have a question in relation to course load and applying for federal aid or loans. We do have a Paying for College program that's coming up. I'm going to drop a link in the chat for additional programs, just as we have today. We have additional topics, and Paying for College is one of those programs. So that's one additional place that I would encourage you to check out. You can check out the financial aid website as well. And also meeting with your advisors, they can also be helpful, navigating kind of that plan to graduation, especially with federal aid or loans in mind, and kind of timing some things out. Let's see, and a student sent in their official transcript, and the course that they took in spring 2022 says IP. What does that mean, and what should they do?
So that means that when your transcript was received, there was not a final grade posted for that class. So for credits to transfer in, you need to have a C or higher in the course. So if you took this course in spring, and maybe sent the transcript in a week after, the semester ended, the professor may not have posted the grade yet for the class. And every once in a while, there are professors who are, just a little bit delinquent with grading. And sometimes there's even a previous semester course without a grade. You never know. Unfortunately, that probably means you need to pay to resend the transcript. But you're going to want to make sure that that grade is posted before you pay to send it again, because you don't want to send it again. And once again, there's no final grade. If there's no final grade still posted for the class, you'll want to reach out to, the professor for that class or the institution that it's coming from to be like, why don't I have a grade here? But IP means that we received a transcript. We know you took the course, but we don't have a final grade for it per that transcript. So you won't receive the credit until we see a transcript with a grade of C or higher.
All right. If we plan to use the resources offered to us, like therapy sessions, should we wait until the start of the semester to fill out the forms, or can we do that over the summer? I'm not sure if this is in relation to what we're talking about here or possibly a different service. What I will say is there's definitely some sequencing things that you need to do. So paying your deposit, registering for classes, there's kind of different timelines that your student ID and your services will become activated. So what I would encourage you to do is for the therapy sessions that you're referring to specifically, I would encourage you to reach out to that department and find out what the timeline is to begin utilizing or setting up for those services. All right, so we're just at the end of our time here. I just want to ask our panelists if there's any last minute advice that you'd like to give to our incoming students and their supporters.
I guess just be comfortable stepping out of your comfort zone. That sounds like an oxymoron, but that's what college is all about. You're not meant to just take classes that you know what to expect, and you're confident you're going to do fabulously, and you should be trying different things in terms of your coursework and also in terms of student engagement and activities, right? It's a learning experience in and out of the classroom, and try things that you didn't expect to try. That's how you're going to grow and learn and really make the most of your college experience.
I think one thing that I have is don't wait until you're struggling to get help. The moment you see something that you don't recognize, immediately reach out to a TA, professor, or the tutoring center, because classes do move very fast. So you don't want to be behind. So don't wait until the week before an exam to get some help. Try and get it as soon as possible.
And just to echo kind of what everyone else is saying, I mean, resources. Use the resources on campus because we really do have excellent resources, whether it's academic advising, the counseling center, tutoring center. Like, we're all here to help support our students. And I always say to students, Stony Brook could be a really big place, but our departments are small and we know exactly who you need to get to. So if you're having a problem, you don't know it's the right person to reach, but you have a connection with somebody, reach out to them, and that person will definitely help you get to the right area.
All right, thank you everyone for joining us today. Feel free to reach out to our office at orientationoffice@stonybrook.edu if you have any additional questions. In the chat, I did drop about a moment or two ago additional Seawolf Q&As that are coming up on all different topics: living on campus, commuting to campus, paying for college, meal plans, getting involved in student engagement and activities, recreation and wellness. So many different partners are going to be represented in different sessions, just like we had today. So we hope you'll consider joining us. And if you missed any part of today's session, this is going to be on our YouTube page, also linked in the chat in about 2 to 3 days. And we look forward to seeing you in a few weeks. Thanks, everyone.